Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you discover great wines with great value for every occasion. On this episode, we review
the Bouvet Ladubay Crémant de Loire.
Yes, hey, welcome back everyone. Aaron here, joined by Joel and Colin. Super excited to get into probably one of our favorite seasons, sparkling wine season. Guys,
my favorite season.
Who doesn't
Bubbles.
like this? Who doesn't like bubbles?
I like bubbles.
I love
I'm
bubbles,
excited.
man.
Yeah.
100%. One of my favorite styles of wine for sure. I could drink bubbles all day, every day. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a go-to for sure.
I mean, I feel like that's been a Colin philosophy, is like we don't need to wait for a special occasion for bubbles. You can just wait for a day that ends in Y.
That's right, 100%. There's no reason not to be drinking bubbles, in my opinion.
Wait a minute. I feel like there was a time, Colin, where you were not a big bubble guy. And then you started drinking bubbles and you're like, oh, wait, yeah, actually I am. Am I making that up?
I think you might be making that up.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
That's definitely happened with some other types of wine, but I think Colin's always been a bubbles guy. I
Okay.
specifically
Yeah.
remember him being one of the first people to say you should be just drinking bubbles. You can open bubbles on a Wednesday night instead of Pinot Grigio. Just open a bottle of bubbles.
Absolutely. I've always been a huge proponent of the everyday bubbles,
Sorry,
'Cause
I'm
you can find
making
some great
up
ones.
lies for you.
I mean,
And
we're like
apologize.
130 episodes in, man. We're confusing everything at this
I
point.
can't keep track.
But I will say the one thing that's really stuck with me and I really appreciate, and I love to know how you guys are feeling about this. I think our Crémant episode, a way long time ago, the Louis Bouillot, was such an eye-opener for me because sparkling wine, specifically champagne, feels like such a expenditure, especially if you're going to a celebration, you're going to a party, you're going to a housewarming. And before we started doing this, I would like begrudgingly go into a wine shop and kind of find the champagne that's in the box that's like in the $60 to $90 range, because I'm like, this is the good stuff, right? I'm not going to spend over that, but I felt like I had to reach for that to get high quality sparkling. And so yeah, and knowing that Crémant costs like a fraction of the price of champagne with a very similar quality was just an absolute like new day for me.
Yeah. It's, the label chasing, right? And not to say that there's not some incredible elephant in the room, right? We always talk about champagne anytime that we're drinking sparkling wine, but it's not to say that there aren't amazing champagnes, but it's incredible when you get just a little bit out of the region and you go to some other areas who are doing really traditional methods, just in a different area, as high quality in most cases, and, the price just drops drastically. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, for sure. And being the longtime bubbly lover that I have been, Crémant has always been one of my go-to.
just hitting it one more time. Bah.
I'm gonna go ahead and push back.
I just wanted to hammer that home. Crémant's always been kind of a go-to for me. Like for me, it's Crémant and Cava are my two like Caillou sparkling. So I'm always excited to get back into a Crémant one because they can be so different. Crémant de Bourgogne or Crémant from Burgundy is going to be totally different than Crémant de Loire or Crémant d'Alsace. So, there's a ton of variation, but still a ton of quality and a ton of value. So really awesome style of wine to explore.
And I would say just shout out our friend, Garth over at One Bottle Review, like champagne guy. He has so many champagnes on there that I know are affordable and high quality, so I don't want to pigeonhole us into like all champagne is like overpriced and overexpensive. But
totally.
If you're walking into your big box store and you only see those like label big brand champagnes and you're feeling like, oh shoot, I'm stuck, like I don't want to spend X, wandering over to the Crémant section is a great opportunity to find something that doesn't have that sticker shock, but you can kind of trust that it has a similar quality.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love champagne.
I
Sign me
will
up.
be drinking
Champagne all day
champagne
long. Yeah, 100%.
Soon.
But, when it comes to affordability, I think Crémant is almost unbeatable.
Well, I'm going to challenge us on something today because I think we've said some of this before. I think it's all very, very true. What I would like to do too is make sure that by the end of this episode, we've talked about what characteristics or qualities you should look for in a sparkling wine outside of champagne that will give you the best shot at having that level of experience while finding more value. So if we can answer that question by the end of this episode, I think we'll have done a good service.
I love that. And that's a great reminder just to give the listener a heads up for our next couple episodes. What we're going to be doing over the next few weeks is actually putting forward what we're hoping are some really good alternatives to champagne as you approach your Christmas dinners and your New Year's Eve. So over the next couple weeks, we have a cava, and we also just have a sparkling rosé from, I believe, Argentina. So, some really great possible alternatives. But I think what Joel's saying is perfect. It's like, what are we looking for in that? Last thing, gentlemen, before we get into what we're drinking today, I would be remiss not to launch our newest segment, which is our wine question of the week. So if you didn't listen to last week's episode, the wine question of the week is your opportunity to engage with the pod. And if you send along an answer to this question, you might get featured on next week's episode. So for our French wine drinkers out there, there may be a few of you. The main Crémant regions in France are Alsace, Burgundy, Bordeaux, Loire Valley, Douro, and Savoie.
Beautiful.
Do you have a favorite of those regions? Which is your favorite? Or is there a brand that you would recommend? Let us know. All right. Wonderful. Joel, what are we drinking today?
Today we are drinking the Bouvet Ladubay Crémant de Loire from the Loire Valley. This is a blend of Chenin Blanc and Chardonnay from 2023. Going back to some of those characteristics, we're going to talk about a little bit of aging here, and this is one that does see a fair amount of aging, 18 months on the lees. Leaves this with 12.5% alcohol, and cost on this one, $20.
Nice.
That is,
I like that price.
It's a nice price point.
It's a good price.
There.
I like that price with a sparkling wine.
Especially a French Loire Valley sparkling wine. $20.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm also really excited about Chenin Blanc. I mean, Chenin Blanc is a very, I think, underrated white wine grape because you don't find it everywhere. The Loire Valley produces some amazing Chenin Blanc, so it'll be interesting to see how it translates into a sparkling wine.
And just to make sure to clarify, if you're one of our listeners who are learning along with us, and by us I mean me, most champagne is Chardonnay, correct?
It's a mix of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier.
So the Chenin Blanc Chardonnay mix is a little more unique.
Unique to Loire, for sure.
Nice. Good. All right. Well, awesome. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's give it a smell. Let's get into it.
Tastes like wine.
For folks who are new to us, notice no flutes. No flutes on the show.
Joel, do you have your coupe?
Speak for your
Are you flouting?
mother effing self,
F is for
brother.
flout.
Are you cooping it?
Ya boy.
There's
comes
no flutes.
cooping to these episodes.
Joel only
Good luck.
drinks sparkling wine out of a coupe, which I absolutely
Give it a
love.
swirl. Joel,
Good
I
for
bought my
you.
first coupes.
Welcome. Don't you feel really cool and classy when you're drinking from it?
I will, but I'm not swirling wine in it because that's
You
silly.
can't do
You're
the,
going to make a
the
mess.
Great Gatsby little coupe cheers with a full wine glass. It looks weird. You got to do it with a cool coupe, and
Coupe.
that's why I do it.
I
All
love
right.
that.
Right off the bat, what are you getting on the nose? Joel, I'll let you stick your nose in your coupe.
I
before you
can't smell
spill it all over
anything
the
from
place.
this. This is a coupe.
It's a terrible idea. Why did I do
swirling.
this? I can't swirl like a goop. Colin, help us.
Get
What's it
nothing
smell
over
like?
here.
So the first... Oh, go ahead, Joel.
You can smell something. Okay, Joel, I'm sorry.
I can, but no, we can let Colin go first.
No, you go
another
first,
second
Joel.
to get really deep in there.
So the first thing that hits me about this is the breadiness, which 18 months on lees, you're going to get quite a bit of that breadiness, and it absolutely is coming through here. So super interesting. Also picking up some really nice citrus, I think, some lemon in there. Be interested to hear what you guys are picking up as well.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Like, you can tell right off the bat, this isn't going to be one of those like really, really sharp, crisp ones that, is just citrusy. This is going to have some, maybe warmth isn't the right word, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's going to have some warmth to it. It's going to have some of that breadiness. And I would just say, to me, yeah, definitely a little bit of citrusy, maybe the only fruit that I'm getting, but yeah, it just seems like it's going to have like that honey, like that smoothness to it.
When we did the Rosé Cremant with Nat from Why Not Wine Bar, she mentioned this vanilla cream, and I think you absolutely get here in here, which is another one of those Lee's flavors as well. And just to kind of to go back to what Joel was talking about, Lee's you'll usually find on traditional method sparkling wine, and probably hit traditional method again in a second when we drink it, when we talk about bubbles. But if you like that breadiness, the traditional method or the champagne method champenois is where you're going to find sparkling wines with that breadiness, that sweet vanilla cream. So something to keep in mind as you're purchasing your sparkling, if that's something you're into.
Wonderful. Wish I had something to add. I don't. Let's get into the taste.
Let's do it.
Calm?
Yeah, it's actually, the fruit comes through a lot more than I was expecting on the nose. I think you get some of that lemon. I'm also getting a little bit of green apple in there. Maybe a little bit of pear. This very green fruit forward. But then you also get that awesome breadiness that comes with that Liege aging.
Yeah. Joel?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Much more like even than I thought it was going to be. But I think we called out most of what I'm experiencing here when we were talking about the nose. But yeah, I guess if anything is not even shocking, but what I wasn't expecting is just how much things would be even on the sip.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's really crisp. You got that breadiness, but it's also, you got those tiny bubbles. You got that, that carbonation kind of like really tight without the stickiness that you get on some, like if you're going to the, I had Friendsgiving, and we bought a bunch of $12 brut whatever sparkling wine to make mimosas with, and it just has that sticky
sugar,
just too much sugar,
to
it. And this is like the opposite of that. It's just you got that bready note, the toastiness, and then that crisp, bubbly citrus, and that's really all you're walking away with, and that's very nice.
Yeah, and Chenin Blanc is known for like super high acid, and you totally get that in this, which I think is really nice because it wouldn't want to say cut through, because I actually like the breadiness, and sometimes cut through kind of makes it sound negative, but it maybe complement. I think it complements the breadiness in a really nice way.
But also is a key factor in, I think, why, like I was talking about how things were really, really, really even on this. Unexpectedly so, because I thought when we were smelling it that it was going to be much more, like the breadiness was going to be crazy. So I think it's a really important call out. And I was thinking like tamp down almost, right? Because I agree, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's the effect, it's what's happening. But for sure, I thought it was going to be way breadier than it is.
For sure. And just to bring up the bubbles and kind of what to look for in Crémant, I mentioned traditional method. That's how you get these little tiny bubbles, as opposed to tank method or Charmant method, where secondary fermentation happens in a tank. Secondary fermentation here happens in the bottle, which is going to give you those little bottles. And it gives you that champagne feel, because that's also how champagne is produced. So, you kind of get the same feel with the tiny bubbles, and with the traditional method, including cava and stuff like that. So something to look out for. Again, if you like that really nice bubbly feel of champagne, traditional method is what to look for. And all Crémant is made in the traditional method.
Oh, is that a fact? All Crémant is traditional?
Yeah, it has to be.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome every time we dive into Crémant. And, this is the second Crémant region. The first one we did, the first two bottles we did were both from Bourgogne. So, there's similarities to Champagne, with the method and some of the varietals they use, and then each region puts a little spin on it. So it's I'm sure an attempt to get a similar quality, but without the pizzazz and fame of Champagne. So excited to get close.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that they do.
All right, so I mean, let's dive. Let's keep sipping our wines, but dive a little bit deeper into Crémant and to this producer as well. Learn a little bit more about it before we get into our final verdict. Let's get into some wine drops.
Time to drop some knowledge. Wine drops.
All right, so we've kind of touched on this already, But Colin, can you please put a bow on it? What is something, what should everyone know who are new to Crémant about Crémant from Loire?
Yeah, sure. And I brought this up a couple times now, but it's sparkling wine made in the traditional method, or the method champenois you'll sometimes see on the bottle. And that, again, is when the secondary fermentation happens in the bottle. So there are a couple different methods to producing sparkling wine. And the bubbles and the breadiness, as I mentioned before, all come from the traditional method. So if you're to drink Prosecco, for example, which is going to be tank method or Chenin method, you're not going to get the breadiness. That's more fruit driven, more acidity driven, and it's not necessarily going to have these fine bubbles. It's not going to have that creaminess, the mouthfeel that you get from the traditional method. So, Crémant is different all over France. In the different Crémant regions, they use different grapes. So, Joel, what is the main grape in the Crémant de Loire?
It's the one that you're, I think, the most excited about, Colin. Is that Chenin Blanc. This is like the grape of Crémant and Loire, and maybe part of the reason why you're such a fan too is because of that grape. So this is what kind of brings that, the acidity, the citrusiness, and I think it's what kind of keeps things a little bit bright while these Crémants are sitting on the lees for a fair amount of time as well, and giving us that that experience we were talking about, where it's very crisp, it's very acidic, but also you've got that breadiness, and you can see that it's had some time on the lees. So a really cool mix, really cool characteristic of Crémant de Loire.
And just to butt in real quick, Chenin's such
Please.
a cool grape.
Yeah.
You can do so much with it. Really, any style of winemaking you want. You can obviously make sparkling, which we're drinking tonight. You can throw it on some oak. It can be sweet. It can be dry. So it's really a cool grape. And if you haven't tried it, I would absolutely recommend exploring it all over the Loire Valley, really. They make some fantastic Chenin in the Loire.
I think it's cool. I think it's actually really fitting, too, that we're talking about Bouvet Ladubay on our first kind of Crémant de Loire endeavor here. So, Aaron, they're a big player there. Can you tell us a little bit more about Bouvet Ladubay and how they fit into the larger Crémant de Loire picture?
They're one of Loire Valley's top producers. They've been around since 1851. They hand harvest everything. They have, all of their wine is aged in these like ancient tuffeau limestone quarries. So it's just a big cave that they age everything in. So cool. And that just keeps everything cool naturally with a stable temperature in that space. It's just, it's awesome when you get into any of these regions and you're just learning about folks who kind of like nailed how to do it. And then just haven't had to change anything for 170 some odd years. Because they're like, yeah, this is working. Yeah, that's
what's crazy too. We talk about like value to method ratio here. They hand pick all of their grapes. Like that's crazy expensive.
They have
that is crazy expensive.
More than 100 vineyard plots.
Yeah,
too. So it's like such an operation. And also think like Loire Valley, relatively famous wine region, to be one of the largest producers in that area and still be hand harvesting and aging in caves. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, just imagine walking into that limestone cave. There's just like traditional method sparkling wine being riddled on the side. It's just like the perfect temperature because of the atmosphere in the cave. I mean, that's just so cool.
And if they're hand picking, I imagine there's one old guy just going down the line doing a quarter turn on every bottle.
No, it's not ready.
And when he finishes, he goes back to the beginning again and just does another quarter turn on every bottle.
He's been riddling wine for 50 years. He's the foremost expert in the Loire Valley. 100%.
Best riddler there is. Bouvet, if you're listening to this and you want to fly us out, we'd love to hang out in your caves and drink your wine.
Was that our first official Stop Wasting Your Wine shameless plug? I love that.
There's so many shameless plugs. This is like a shameless ask, shameless beg.
Fly us to your caves.
We'd love it. It's so good. Our listeners would definitely listen. All right. Wonderful. So many cool things here. But, importantly, 2023 was a big year. So, what happens, Colin, and why did 2023 kind of shape wines from this region?
Yeah, so a couple cool things. One, this is a vintage Cremant, which not all Cremant is.
I saw that. That was very neat.
I think doing a little bit of research about Bouvet before we hopped on, it seems like all their Cremant is vintage, which is cool.
Super cool.
So yeah, vintage can sometimes be a good indication of quality because a lot of times sparkling wine houses won't put vintage on their bottles unless they think it's great. I don't know if that's the case in the Loire. If somebody knows about that, please comment. I'd love to know. But the year 2023 was actually a pretty brutal year in the Loire Valley. The Loire Valley is usually a relatively cool area, which is why it's great for Grape Lake Chenin Blanc with the high acidity. They were very hot. There was a lot of humidity, which leads to mildew pressure. But if you were able to and had the resources to combat that, you were still able to make some really, really cool wine. So to see some wine coming out of there, especially with potential quality, was a considerable stretch based on the environment and weather and the things that the growers had to go through in that year. So cool to be drinking a wine from that year, especially with so much acidity, because heat usually kills acidity. Did not in this wine. So, this is a really cool blend of Chenin and Chardonnay. Joel, where does this really shine when it's put on the table? What are you pairing this with as far as food is concerned?
Yeah, I actually want to take a second to even talk about how cool it is that we're asking the question of where does this fit at the table? I think sometimes, sparkling wines get overlooked as far as pairing them with food.
Yeah.
And,
I'm just walking around a party with it.
Yeah, totally. I think your brain kind of goes straight to that. And maybe some of that is due to the fact that, some styles that your mind might go to first maybe don't align perfectly with sitting down and eating with food. This Cremant and these Cremants that we're talking about, I think the exact opposite, because we've been talking about all the things that we typically talk about in a wine that we want to pair with food, right? It's that acidity that's going to, I will say cut through, right? And complement salty foods, the seafood, the fried food. I don't think we talk about how bubbles, sparkling wine, and fried food are a match made in heaven enough.
Classic. 100%.
In amazing combinations. I think that's what makes this specifically a Crémant de Loire really, really cool. You can drink it throughout the entire dinner, and I think it will match, a seafood course that you're having up front. You can pair it with a lot of your mains, and you can even drink this through a dessert as well. And I think it'd be lovely and probably different as you go through the whole thing. So shines at the table and is very versatile, I would say, at the same time.
I am having a strong, irrational desire to have a glass of this with chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
Totally. 100%.
I want chicken. I want the sweet and savory. I want that whole meal in front of me right now.
Yeah,
for sure.
And funny you said salty snacks, because I'm in a place right now where if I just had a big giant bag of chips, that's what I want. That's what I want right now to enjoy with this wine and just go to town on it. So
classless.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
But delicious.
It would be gross to watch, but oh god, I'd be in such
Imagine
a good place.
walking in on that. Imagine like your significant other walking in and you have like a flute, just tiny bubbles, and just a bag of Ruffles. Just like what?
And you're like
just watching football.
It's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
I am happy. Let me be.
Exactly.
Living, baby. That is living.
Pull up a chair.
Hell yeah. Fantastic. All right. So, man, I learned way more than I expected to learn right there, both about Crémant and about Bouvet and about chips and sparkling. So I am stoked. And I think we're about ready to give our final verdict on this bottle of wine.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, gentlemen, we have learned a bunch. We've drank a bit. We've chatted. We've connected. Yeah. Let's give our final thoughts on this bottle. Colin, what are you thinking? Anything popping out to you? Last minute revelations? And where are you going to put it?
Yeah, one thing I don't think we talked about was the mouthfeel of this.
We didn't talk about our mouths at all.
No, we didn't. Thanks for making it kind of weird. But it's very acidic, but it's also kind of creamy. It's not totally light, which I think adds to the experience overall. I don't think it's changed too much as far as the flavors. You're getting a lot of those green fruits. You're getting a lot of that citrus. I think the breadiness is still there 100%. I think for $20, this is a great wine. It has all of the things that you might love about a champagne: the nice acidity, the nice flavors, the bubbliness, the mouthfeel even, I think, is a big part of that. But, for $20, the value here is outstanding. So, I think for me, this is a must share. It's super tasty. Like, it's a wine I just want to keep drinking. Every time I get to the end of my glass, I put a little bit more in there. So, I would absolutely, for $20, take this and share it with folks as a really cool example of Crémant and a really cool example from Crémant from the Loire.
Absolutely. Joel, how you feeling?
Okay. I've had to think about this one a lot, and I have a lot of very complex feelings on this. Okay. Because
you're an adult.
Love that. All right.
You're allowed to do that.
Let's hear it. Smooth is the perfect word for this. And we were talking about how things are very just like balanced and even keel throughout the whole thing, which I think is very cool. But it's also, to me, almost like lacking a little bit of a specialness. You know what I mean? And that's what I was thinking up front. Like, I wanted something to really make me go, oh, this is what's a must share. I'm going to say it's a must share because the thing that makes it so is the quality of this. And to your point, for $20. So I want to make that distinction. Like, it's not for me that I'm drinking this and I'm having this experience where it's like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, what a unique experience that the sip on this is. That's not the case. It's very good, obviously very high quality. But the thing that makes it special is what we talked about, the obvious care and love that goes into it, and the fact that as you taste it, it is so lovely the whole way through, and at $20. Like, that's what makes it a must share for me as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think at $30, this is probably a casual sipper, but I think value, it totally drives this. It's just tasty, and at $20, you can't go wrong with this wine at $20.
For sure.
It's the name of the game of the show, right? We're trying to find those great wines for great value. So I agree with both you, and I think as we go into party season, as you are thinking about your holiday events, you are thinking about your New Year's Eve party, and you are looking for a bottle to bring that is going to blow all of the random sparkling wine brutes that you walk into the supermarket and you grab just out of the water. And you also don't want to go out and buy a $60, $70 bottle of champagne because you don't know what's going to happen to it, right? You walk into a party, someone grabs it, they talk in the fridge, and all of a sudden it's getting poured out, and it's not what you're doing. Yeah. This is an excellent sparkling wine to grab for $20. Yeah. That you can pour out either at a party, filling everyone's glasses, or sitting at a table having dinner that's going to be tasty, that's going to be approachable, that people are going to enjoy, that's crisp. It's not cheap tasting. Like, if you told people this was a $20 bottle of wine, I think people would be surprised.
Agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's punching way above its weight. And any opportunity you have a chance to teach someone about Crémant, who might not know what that is an excellent opportunity. So absolute must share. Delicious bottle of wine and wonderful value.
Agreed.
Somebody bring me some chips.
So someone brings some chips and some chicken and waffle right now.
Yeah, that's right.
I am
definitely. Yeah.
So ready for this. Well, fantastic. Guys, what a great way to kick off our series on some sparkling wines for the holidays.
Yes.
We got Crémant. We got a couple different ones popping up over the next couple weeks. I'm excited. Before we let folks go, let's play a game.
Let's do it.
All right. You know what we haven't played in a little bit?
PiNope or Chardonnay.
We haven't played PiNope or Chardonnay. Thanks, Colin. You're supposed to go, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine.
No,
we haven't played PiNope or Chardonnay in a while. And it's a great game and everyone loves it.
Somebody looked at the show notes, and I appreciate that.
Let's play some PiNope and Chardonnay.
Yeah, right. Let's do it.
All right. For folks who haven't been listening for 2 years, PiNope and Chardonnay is our game where we think about a strange or slightly unusual wine situation, and we ask ourselves, PiNope, yeah, I'm not going to do that, or Chardonnay, what the heck, I'm on board. Gentlemen, you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Gentlemen, PiNope or Chardonnay, someone hands you what you are absolutely sure is a fantastic bottle of sparkling wine. I won't even say it's champagne or Crémant. They hand it to you, and you know this is going to be an amazing bottle of sparkling wine. It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
But the deal is, to pop it open, you have to drink the whole bottle by yourself. PiNope or Chardonnay?
Hell yeah.
Chardonnay. Yeah. What's the...
Oh, I didn't know if I
Aaron,
was going to get hangover Colin getting mad at me about that one.
The point of the game is there's supposed to be some conflict. Like, it's supposed to be tough to decide between one route or the other.
For the listener at home, Colin has horrific hangovers, and I thought I might catch him on that one.
No. If you're giving me top tier sparkling wine, I'm gonna drink that whole thing. No problem.
I know what I'm doing next time I come to Florida.
Yeah, fine.
Hey, Colin, here we
Bring
go.
it, baby. Hey,
That's fantastic.
I'm not
All
gonna
right,
turn it down.
that was not a good PiNope or Chardonnay. Joel, did you got one? Really thought I was going to get him on that hangover.
Yeah, that did
Not
not
today.
pan out. Since that one was very, very straightforward, I'll present one more to you, inspired by how much we're enjoying this this lovely Crémant today. So let's say, for example, let me set the scene here. You're having a big brunch, everything's going great, everybody's over at your house, lovely time. You're making mimosas with your, just kind of crappy. I was going to say Prosecco, but there's lovely Proseccos out there. But like your crappy mimosa-focused and purposed Proseccos, okay? You run out of those. Your best friend finds a bottle of this lovely Bouvet Ladubay Crémant and says, hey, guys, I found another one. Let's keep doing mimosas. PiNope or Chardonnay. You let the party continue. Let the people have what they want, making a mockery of this lovely Crémant, pouring whatever orange juice or whatever juice they're using into these mimosas. Or do you stop it? PiNope or Chardonnay, letting them go ahead with it?
That's a good one. That's a tough question.
Because you don't want to be that guy who's like, no. It is
You don't want to be
10:15 in the morning, and we are not using my Crémant to make mimosas here. But
I think those are
also
two different
don't want that
sentences.
to happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
go.
would, for me personally, I would probably let it happen, but also I'd be like, listen, you guys can just enjoy that one by itself. You don't have to, because listen, if you want to put orange juice in a nice bottle of sparkling wine, like, you do you, right? But I think it would be pertinent to point out a wine that you could also enjoy by itself because it has the merits of a quality wine. So that's, I think Chardonnay with a twist is what I would say about that.
That sounds like a lovely cocktail, and also I like that
Chardonnay
you're
with a
gently
twist.
prodding. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a gentle prod.
Our future Stop Wasting Wine restaurant that we open up. Chardonnay with a twist.
Chardonnay with a twist.
Yeah, I'm going. I mean, who would have thought that this would be calling me? I'm going a big PiNope on this. I think I've been empowered by you two gentlemen to be able to be like, because I think it's a win-win-win to be like, nope. What you've grabbed right there is a really nice bottle of sparkling wine. So I am 100% okay with us opening this right now and enjoying this. But the deal is, nobody puts any juice in that. No juice going in that. We're enjoying that the way it is, as God intended. All right, so like, I'm not like ripping the ball out of their hands and being like, this is my nice sparkling. But I'm saying, like, yeah, we can open that, but no juice is going in that wine because you don't need it. And I think that's fair, because I think old me, he would have been like, whatever, we're drinking mimosas. And new me's like, yeah, I love mimosa and appreciate the good stuff.
I love that.
Fair.
You said as God intended. I'm gonna add as the workers in the field who hand-picked these grapes intended.
They didn't do that so you could mix your crappy orange juice in there.
Exactly. As the older gentleman in the overalls riddling every bottle by hand for 18 months.
And he's been doing it for 82 years. He's
Yeah, that's
105,
right.
by the way.
He's actually a ghost. He died many, many decades ago. I'm PiNoping this. Yeah, you gotta
That's fair.
enjoy.
That's
I'm gonna
fair.
call it out. Yeah.
Love
I
that.
found
man.
that people expect it of me at this point. And, it's hilarious because I'm still me and I'm still just woefully behind so many sommeliers out there. But people are like, is this a bottle I can mix with orange juice? Like, they're expecting me to be like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't
You're
do
the
that.
sheriff.
Yeah. No.
You're the good bubble sheriff.
I'm happy. That sounds like such a great job. Not gonna lie to you, being the good bubble sheriff is like, as long as that has benefits, I'm down.
Man, and who would have thought I would have been the one kind of Chardonnay? Man.
Colin's the coolest guy
What's
on the
going
show
on
now.
here?
He's just like, whatever, dude.
Colin doesn't
Whatever.
want coffee.
You only live once, man.
Live your lives, baby.
It's okay.
Just have fun.
Add the OJ.
It's gonna be good. Well, that turned out incredibly well. I was not expecting that. So we learned a lot about Colin today. He's just not worried about the hangover if you give him good enough wine, and fuck it. But orange, she said, cool, whatever.
Man.
Amen.
Gonna give you a $100 bottle of champagne and a carton of orange juice. Be like, you
It's all
must
just
drink these
liquids,
two
baby.
things.
That's
I'll
Colin.
be-
It's all just
There,
liquids, man.
doesn't matter. Put them together.
Cheers, bro.
Here we go. Well, fantastic, guys.
Live and
Another
die.
great episode. Episode it feels like 632 of Stop Wasting Your Wine. We've just learned so much, and we're going to continue to learn. I'm excited for the next couple weeks. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of different sparkling wines before we enter 2026, which will be our third year of doing this podcast.
Oof.
Crazy.
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow.
So if folks want to continue to engage with us as we, march down the road towards just more and more excellent wine, Colin, how can folks reach out, and tap in?
Sure. Check us out on Instagram, Stop Wasting Your Wine. You can email us, cheers@stopwastingyourwine.com. YouTube, go over there, hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome. And if you're listening, wherever you're listening, if you could just leave us a review, I would really appreciate that. We'd really appreciate that. We appreciate that you listen, and we hope
Say
you keep
appreciate
coming back.
again.
I would appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Yikes.
Awesome. Fantastic, folks.
Much
We'll be back
appreciated.
next week. Every Tuesday, there's an episode. Make sure to join us.
And remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, y'all.
Much appreciated. Bye.